Um, so, yes, we do have a special guest. We've got Frosty on today from anetaBTC. Just say welcome, guys.
Hey, hey everyone, how you doing?
Hello, thanks for having me on. Hopefully, you guys can hear us this time. That would be good.
Awesome. Sorry about that little glitch. There's always something going on in a live stream.
Gotta love
So,
technology, right?
exactly right. So, once again, we've had an exciting week in with the launch of anetaBTC SubPool on GetBlok.io. Rob, just want to give us a little bit of a rundown on that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, like I said, we just recently launched the anetaBTC subpool just about a few days ago, almost a week ago here, and it's been some significant growth. We've just recently today hit 1 terahash. I think when we initially started the subpool, we were around 150 gigahash. So we're looking at almost 10x growth there. So it's been an exciting week. We've been busy.
It's really good, isn't it? It's such a good experience, isn't it? Because uh, just being able to watch the hash rate on GetBlok just grow sort of exponentially. It's amazing. And Frosty, you've got some part to play in that.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I started like giggling a little bit because you can see as Arobi is talking about this, he just has like this permanent smile on his face from like how happy he is, how everything's working out, and it's so beautiful to see because everyone in the Ergo community, with all of our projects, we've all been working so hard the last year, 6 months, whatever it is, and it's really revolutionary. I think what GetBlok has built, and it's cool that the anetaBTC project has been a part of that, and hopefully together grow with GetBlok and the Ergo space as a whole. So it's super exciting, everything that's happening right now, and it's just super great to be a part of the Ergo community and to get to work with people like you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. So for those who may not know what anetaBTC is by now, I think it's pretty wide known around the industry and throughout the socials. But for those who don't know, do you want to give us a rundown on what anetaBTC is?
Cool. Well, thanks for saying that. It's well known. That's quite the compliment. I appreciate that. But for those that don't know, anetaBTC is a decentralized on-chain Bitcoin wrapping protocol on Cardano and Ergo. And basically what it allows you to do is someone can take their Bitcoin that's on the Bitcoin network, say they have 1 Bitcoin, they can hold it in a vault on the Bitcoin network, and then what we'll do through smart contracts is then mint and redeem that Bitcoin in the form of anetaBTC, and then you can then freely use it on Cardano and Ergo. So if you want to take it out, if you want to use a lending protocol on Ergo, then you can use that Bitcoin to take out a loan, and then now you suddenly have access to all of these different financial tools that typically you wouldn't have exposure to on the Bitcoin network.
Yeah, so there's a lot of use and utility in the token itself.
Yeah, so there's a few different forms. I guess there's different layers to the tokens with Aneta. There's anetaBTC itself, where when you're actually locking the Bitcoin as collateral, that will be minted on the Ergo network, and then you can use anetaBTC. But beyond that, we have a governance and revenue sharing token, 2 tokens called Neta, which lives on the Ergo blockchain, and CNeta, which lives on the Cardano blockchain. And functionally, they're identical and they have the same governance and revenue sharing rights. But essentially, with the token, you'll be able to do different things such as, vote on the future direction of the protocol, have rights to the revenue of the protocol. And now, as we're starting to see other things expand, like we just announced today, is that people will be able to use their Neta and CNeta to claim other tokens, such as eTosi and cTosi, for example, which is a token distribution platform, and we can get into all that. But yeah, at a higher level, that's what the Neta and CNeta tokens are for.
Awesome. Thanks for that rundown. So, Rob, a little bit of an undertaking behind the scenes to get the subpools up. Do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what it sort of takes to get that sort of infrastructure going?
Yeah, sure. And I mean, kudos to my team, Karat and Vinny, because they they really put in a lot of hours, really making this come through on the back end and the infrastructure side. But to make a long story short, it's not easy. I mean, especially as you have a an influx of, miners, and influx of connections to the mining pool, it's something you need to chase, right? It's something that you need to kind of continuously build on your infrastructure, launch additional stratum servers, things of that nature. So as we gain new miners and new, these new connections to the pool, connections are everything, right? We talk about that latency and all of that. So, we want to continue to ensure that our miners have the best connection to the pool, the lowest latency, so they're finding blocks, right? So, that's what it's all about, right? It's all about how can we turn blocks. And there's been a lot of hard hours put behind the scenes, just just getting this thing up and running, and kind of launching all the additional infrastructure. And even to today, we're continuously upgrading and improving our system. So it's again, kudos to my team. They've been really putting in some really hard effort just to make things function, and make miners happy, right? Because it's all about that transparency, that communication, and making sure that everyone knows what's going on.
And that's the great thing about GetBlok, I think, in my opinion, is the transparency around it for miners. We're getting away from that sort of trust me bro model with the traditional sort of mining pool setups, and having everything transparent, clear, on chain, auditable is fantastic for miners. So one miner does hit a block, the payout figures are all there, transparent, who receives what. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it really is a great incentive for miners to, join our pool and have that visibility, right? I mean, it goes beyond just, that big question mark, like, am I getting paid out properly? Things like that. And, if there are challenges, people come into our chats, we have, a conversation with them, we let them know what's going on. And, it's, I think that's respected, right? Because it's not just, you're talking to a wall, or, things like that. We provide answers, and we make sure that we keep everyone in the loop.
Yes, well, thanks for saying g'day, Meta. There's a couple of sort of comments here. Wombo22 has a comment here saying congratulations on the 1 terahash. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Much appreciated. I think there's been a lot of supporters, right? I mean, I could go on and just sit here and give all the shout outs, but it's really been the ecosystem, the community, the mining community in general. I think it's starting to go beyond the Ergo ecosystem, which is great. We're seeing a lot of new miners that are just starting to mine Ergo, and coming over from Ethereum. So I think it's great to see, right? I mean, I think I've mentioned before that that's exactly what we were looking to accomplish. And I think, it shows in the numbers, right? You see the growth, you see the interest. And I think, projects like anetaBTC, it's proof in the pudding, right? It just shows that, there's a lot of development within the ecosystem, and there's a lot more to come.
Most definitely. Very well said. So, Frosty, have you had any conversations with miners? Any interest, people reaching out, wanting to know any more information?
Well, usually what I do when there is a question is I'll refer them to Arobi, and I'll say, hey, Arobi, help me out, please. I need your help. But no, I mean, it's interesting because I think, and like Arobi said, this certainly didn't happen overnight. Like, I know we've been talking at least probably since like January or February, trying to figure out bringing something really cool to the community. And then, me speaking with our community team, we've probably been talking about this the last at least 2 or 3 months at this point, because we had a lot of miners in the community and a lot of people that were interested in being able to earn this token through mining. So it's cool to finally see that and come to fruition, especially with, I think the coolest thing is, like Arobi said, from my perspective, is seeing all of the people that are joining our community and hearing about this, that are like not typical Ergo people, and they're not typically, or at least natively from the anetaBTC project, but they're hearing about it, and they're learning about GetBlok, and they're learning about Ergo, and hopefully everyone gets to benefit from that, and everyone's getting exposure. So it's just cool to see all of the awesome new community members that we're getting, and I'm looking forward to keep on growing with everyone.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this as well, and you can see it reflected in the actual network terahash as well. We've seen a nice influx of miners, both to GetBlok, but then the entire ecosystem itself. So I think that just ties into the profitability at the moment. There's a number of really profitable cards. So the 3060s, 3070s, all that sort of side of things. People are jumping on board.
Yeah, agreed. And I think, a lot of it also has to do with, I mean, look, there's LHR, unlocked now, right? With those, NVIDIA cards, which is, giving miners a lot more hash rate, a lot more stability with their cards. And then the other thing is the heat right now. I mean, at least here in, the United States, it's, we're going through a heat wave. I mean, you look across the map and it's all, orange and red. So, there's a lot of miners shutting down. I mean, you see reports, Texas, big, mining industries kind of shutting down their rigs. There's a lot of night mining going on. So I think miners are also shifting to Ergo because it's, gentler on your GPUs, right? Less power, less heat. So I think that's also helping and contributing to it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I'll take some of that heat at the moment, mate. It's actually freezing where I'm here.
We'll give you plenty.
Righto. So, well, let's jump over to the website and just have a quick look at that. So on here, we've got, as you can kind of see, just 1 second, 44 blocks now found on your pool. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, sweet. And am I supposed to be able to see this, or only the viewers see the screen?
Sorry. Yes, only the viewers can see this.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. I'm just kidding. It's fine. But that's amazing. 44 blocks. I mean, it is incredible to see how quickly it's grown. And I mean, hopefully, I think GetBlok as a whole is really just getting started. All the different innovative things they have planned. Like I said, I've been talking to Arobi the last 6 months or so, and he's just an absolute animal. I know, pretty much all day and night, he's thinking of different ways to bring crazy things to Ergo and how to continue to strengthen the network. And it's cool to work with you guys. We all have the same vision for how we want to see Ergo grow and evolve, and to bring more people into the community. And it's not always so clear how we're going to go about bringing more people into the community, but it's really cool that right now a lot of it is through mining. So yeah, hopefully the pool keeps growing. And I think someone actually said today, I believe it was Noah, that told me about 1/10 of the neta has been mined already. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, at the moment, there's just under 600,000 neta. So that's pretty amazing.
Distributed.
Okay, wow.
So
yeah, so we are distributing.
yeah, we're getting close.
Okay. And it's so cool to see. And I mean, even after that, and I think we've told our community that this is just sort of phase one, and it's cool that with GetBlok, I mean, I don't think that anything like this really exists in the world, with the way that GetBlok was able to facilitate this. So, we had phase one that started out with 10 million neta, but we certainly want to keep moving forward and keep bringing innovation to the space. So I'm super excited to see how that rolls out after, the first 10 million get mined.
Yeah, so just want to give the community a rundown on the actual distribution of neta for your subpool.
Yeah, so essentially the way that it works is that, and thanks to, and none of this would be possible without GetBlok and Arobi and Karat and their whole team. But essentially what it is that you commit this hash power, and for every ERG that would have been mined by the pool, instead of getting one ERG, you'll get 22% more of that. But instead of getting 22% more ERG, you get that in the form of neta. So yeah, that's essentially how it works. So every time a box blind or a block is minted, it takes a few minutes to maybe even an hour or so. Arobi would know more about that. But then all the miners will get their distribution in neta.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And it's real time. So what happens is it does connect to ErgoDex. It does, take the current exchange rate, and then it basically calculates that based off of the block find, and distributes that to the miners. Again, once the block is found, it needs time to be confirmed. Currently, our confirmations are set at 20 confirmations. which is actually the lowest in the ecosystem. So, the standard would normally be 720. We've been able to reduce that significantly. And then once the confirmations have passed, there is a process of where the payment manager needs to process the payments to the miners. So this could be, a 1 to 2 hour process, potentially before the block is fully distributed, or the payments are distributed to the miners.
Yes, I'm just looking at a couple of stats here. You've got 60% of the miners being able to sort of join. You've got a max limit of 1,000 for this subpool, and you've got 601 miners connected. So it's just mind-boggling, isn't it, these numbers?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I think the 1,000 limit it's a limitation within the subpool. However, we've identified that there is ways that we can launch additional subpools and merge the pools together, so the rewards would still be distributed accordingly. So we have a solve for that. No need to panic. We won't max out, and we'll obviously figure out creative ways to make that work.
Yeah, and I've just got the actual network hash rate and the hash rate on your subpool. On your GetBlok pool overall, and it's just gone parabolic. So I was sitting at it around sort of 300-400 gigahash there for about a week, and it's just skyrocketed now up to 1 terahash. Amazing. And then the network overall sitting at 17 terahash.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to see. I mean, because if you look at it this way, right? I mean, bringing new miners into the ecosystem, they're mining neta, right? Now they need to take that neta and they may potentially exchange it. They may hold it and look to, do something with it in the future, right? But now they're going to Ergo decks, right? So now there's some, interaction for, new miners on Ergo decks. So it's kind of, bringing miners in, and they're, branching out into the community, which is, it's exactly what we want, right? So I mean, it's great to kind of see that path, throughout the whole ecosystem.
That's a very good segue, I guess, as well, is essentially miners on your network are users. They're liquidity providers, but then also they'll get involved on transacting on Ergo Dex, the decentralized exchange on Ergo, and then hopefully get involved throughout the ecosystem. They can see the power and the beauty of Ergo.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I've seen a lot of commentary on was that miners are actually taking the neta and they're converting it to SIG USD. So they know it's a stable coin, right? They don't have to worry about price fluctuations. So it's providing some activity there as well. So again, it's just it's like kind of branching out into all these different pockets of the ecosystem and really just pulling it all together, which is it's amazing.
Yeah, we've just got a comment here from Meta. They were calling GetBlok small pool. Look at that. Crazy. 1 terahash.
I know, right? It's amazing. I mean, we were joking earlier. I remember when we were just at 10, 30 gigahash, right? Just a little fish in the pond, so to speak. And it's been great. And we're excited for the growth, and as everyone knows, more miners, more hash rate, more blocks, right? So it goes around, and the blocks are flowing in, right? I think we were up until we started this, we were about 1 block on our average for, I'd say, probably the past 10 hours or so, and just before we jumped on, I think we got like 5 blocks in the past hour. So they're really turning right now. Yeah.
So how many 44 blocks for the neta subpool. And then how many overall have you guys had on GetBlok?
Well, the numbers are a little bit skewed right now, just because we reset the timer when we launched the subpools. But we had roughly, and I'm probably calculating this wrong, but we had about 1,200 blocks before the subpool launched, and then you could see the number now. I think maybe in total, what are we at? 200 something, with all the subpools combined. Probably even more in the past few days.
Yeah, thereabouts, give or take, up around a couple of hundred. So yeah, it's small little GetBlok. He's playing with the big boys now.
That's amazing.
Nice to see.
Number 1 soon enough. My hope is GetBlok will be number 1. At least that's the goal, right? I mean, might as well take it to the number 1.
we do want, we do want miners to spread the hash. So number one would be great, but we definitely don't want to get anywhere near that 40% hash rate.
100%.
In saying that as well, you have the ability to distribute the hash rate across contracts. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I mean that's essentially what the subpools are. So I mean each individual subpool right now, as it shows, does have its own hash rate. It is reflecting, as one pool right now. That's mainly, it's API driven, right? So the hash rate that's being provided, it's just a combined hash rate. We are working on some upgrades that will kind of split out those streams, so it will show the individual hash rate per contract. And then with that, we'll be able to list those pools on mining pool stats independently, so miners can see the stats of that independent pool.
Fantastic. So, Frosty, why did you choose Ergo?
Oh man. Well, for a few reasons. One, first of all, I originally had come from Cardano, and I had been, familiar with Cardano the last couple of years, but there were a lot of different reasons about Ergo. I think the biggest, or the few couple of reasons was, one, I think the leadership and development. I have like a background in technology, so I was able to, I think, just knowing, Alex's background and all the people on Ergo Foundation. I mean, I don't think there's like a more talented technical team in the entire space, as far as I'm concerned. So, a combination of that and just, I think the principles, the first principles that come with Ergo, I think for a lot of us, it had to do with the Ergo manifesto. And, like we're reading this and we're like, wow, like this makes so much sense, And so, yeah, I think that the idea, I think there's like a harmony in this world between proof of stake and proof of work. I think they both live, cohesively together. I know some people think that, it's just one or it's just the other, but yeah, those were some of the reasons. Also, the fact that it's a blockchain and built in a language where you can build smart contracts on top of it. And not only just smart contracts, but secure smart contracts in a developer-friendly environment. It's all of like the perfect things that you could look for in a quality project. And then you realize, oh, and it's 95% distributed to the public.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you have community members that are super accessible and willing to help, and everything is open source. So if you have trouble with something, you can just look at stuff that's already been created. So yeah, I mean, I could go on for days and days, but I just love Ergo so much. I love what they're doing to the space, and it's cool to see, how much it's growing in the last couple of months. I don't know if you guys are seeing the same thing, but I think GetBlok, the numbers we're seeing there is one indicator, but even outside of that, I feel like the social sentiment that I've noticed has skyrocketed as well. I feel like every day now on Reddit or Twitter or all these different platforms, people are talking about Ergo. So it seems like it's growing in that area as well, and I'm just super excited to keep building and keep working hard.
Yeah, the community's amazing, both the development side of things, but then also just the general community. You see that rallying on sort of Twitter and trying to spread the word. And the best thing about it is it's not shilling. It's more so just trying to educate people and bring awareness of how powerful and beautiful this ecosystem is. Also, you touched on the Ergo Manifesto. I think that just it's the bedrock for the community. We have a really solid core community now. A lot of it does stem around that Ergo Manifesto sort of first principles, open source software. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I think, and I agree with what you're saying, in terms of like Twitter. And I think the way that we go about it is like a very non-shilly way, because I think a reality of the situation, at least from my experience, is that, people generally know about cryptocurrencies and blockchains and distributed ledgers, but I think a majority of people still don't quite like understand the purpose of it, in the first place. Like being that, the number one priority should be decentralization. It starts there. And, I like even some of my friends, when I'm talking to them, there is like a learning curve, and realizing that like, oh, wait, you mean like Solana is like almost entirely owned by VCs? Like, oh, I didn't know that. That's ridiculous. And it's like, once people start to understand that, then, the quality projects like Cardano and Ergo become a lot more apparent. But until like we sort of are able to educate people in that way, I think that's sort of where it starts. So, and I think the community gets it too, and I think they do a great job of Twitter of trying to explain why we need Ergo and Cardano so much.
Yeah, most definitely. I've just got a question here, and I think it kind of applies to both of you guys, actually. It's from Wombo22. Did you guys expect this level of participation? I guess you can go look at it from both the anetaBTC itself as a project, but then also the subpooling as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, lofty goals, right? I mean, we did expect some increase in hash rate, but not nearly, where we're at today in such a fast amount of time, right? And that's, again, back to, scalability and things of that nature. It came at us quick, right? We were not expecting to be at 1 terahash literally in, the matter of a week. So, it's great. I mean, no complaints, but no, that's the answer. I think we expected some growth, but not where we're at right now. So again, much appreciated to the mining community and those that are supporting GetBlok.
And just on that growth as well, you guys are expanding your servers and all that sort of stuff as we speak.
Yeah, so what we're looking to do is basically provide double instances in every region. So, the double Stratum servers nodes, and basically the share processing will be doubled in each region that we currently offer. And then we are looking to expand into other regions as well. Just there's some untapped regions out there that are no matter what pool they go to, they have high latency. So we've had some requests. As we've said in the past, we listen to our miners, so we're gonna look to improve the network there for them.
Yep, fantastic. And then Frosty, the growth for anetaBTC. I think it kind of started off with a couple of airdrops and brought in a big community, but then the growth on that is huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been tremendous to see the growth of the project and the community. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. I was expecting to do well. I always try to, I think that if you put the work in and if you work hard and if you have a good game plan, typically over time, things will work well, especially when you take a long-term approach. But it's just been amazing to see everything come to fruition. And then doing this with GetBlok, I think, or at least when we were coming out with this, we were hopeful that, we were coming out with something that was very attractive for miners. And I think, and we understand, especially with the miners, it's a very incentive run business. And being able to get an extra 22% on top of what's already one of the most profitable coins and blockchains out there, being Ergo and ERG, I was hoping that it would do well. It's hard to gauge. It's been amazing to see. But yeah, I was definitely hoping we would do well. So that's good that it's working out.
Yeah, very well said. So we've got a question here from Diamond Mine. Has GetBlok interacted with other mining pools in the ecosystem? And if so, do they see any other smart contract-based mining pools emerging?
To be honest, we have not really directly interacted with any pools within the ecosystem. So no, not at this point. I think something like the smart contract based smart pool and subpools. It's something that we put a lot of time to, and I think maybe it's something we could look at in the future, but for right now, it's something that I think we'll focus on ourselves and look to engage. The main focus will be to engage with other projects within the ecosystem, because I think that's where we can bring not only value to the project itself, but project to the ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And we touched on this in the green room just prior as well. I myself, I can see this being a massive value add for Ergo, just being able for the projects themselves, being able to distribute tokens throughout GetBlok, but then also, as Frosty's just touched on, providing that extra incentive for people to come. And then in previous episodes of the Dark Cave Miners, we've also touched on people probably even going to the extent of marketing their subpools, attracting hash rate to then create more revenue to try and get people in there to build up their side of things. So it's just kind of becoming like a little sort of, I use the analogy, sort of like as on Cardano, you've got the stake pools, them sort of marketing their stake pool to attract stake. It's the same for hash rate on Ergo through GetBlok.
Yeah, I mean, I almost look at it as pool PM, right? Where you have one master pool, and then there's all these additional pools that are kind of built within that same ecosystem. So it really is great to see that these subpools are able to kind of form not only within their own communities that they've established already, but to draw miners into that community and build a separate mining community kind of within their own ecosystem themselves. So it's nice to see, and I think that again, it's kind of bringing everything together within the community. So again, I think we'll continue to do so, and there's some other projects that we're kind of talking to now. So again, it's kind of connecting the dots and bringing the bigger picture together.
Yeah, for sure. And here's another little comment from Flipping Cryptos. Son of a Tech's how to mine video brought in a lot of miners.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's been a great supporter of ours, to be honest with you. We've been in conversations with him for quite some time, just chit chatting and discussing subpooling in general. And I think he gave it a whirl himself and found some value in it, and it brought some attention to the broader mining community. And I think we can also also give thanks to Rabid Mining as well. I think they're starting to kind of gain some attention, right? And I think that getting the word out there is important, right? I think as we said, we're looking to provide that additional value to miners, and I think specifically with the Neta subpool, I think it did just that, and it's bridging the gap for a lot of people that are profits are down right now. It's crypto winter. We're kind of all facing the same thing, and I think that this is helping, right, subsidize some of that loss. So
yeah, just on the markets.
And
sorry, Frosty.
On top of that too, thank you. I was just going to add with what Ravi said is that I think it's super cool now that how Cardano has the ISPOs is on Ergo, people can now commit their hash power to now earn these tokens in like pretty much the most decentralized way possible. And what I think is cool with Neta specifically is the way that people will be able to use those tokens once they get them, because I guess some people are going to turn them to SIG USD, which is also another huge part about Ergo is the amazing stablecoin protocol that they built, SIG USD. It's unreal. But anyways, so now you have this Neta token, and now you can use it for all these different things. You can use it for governance, you can use it for staking, and you can earn more Neta. You can use it to earn Satoshi. And it's cool that this all starts with just earning Neta in pretty much the most decentralized way possible with having the right hardware. I really do think what Roby and the team at GetBlok let's put this on, because I might be wrong, but I think this is like one of the most innovative things that we've seen in the blockchain space in a while, because even now we're starting to see all of like the flexible ways that you can use this decentralized smart pooling, and I think it's just going to be huge for our industry, and I'm so excited to see how it all unfolds.
You just touched on a little bit of utility there. Do you just want to expand on that, just on the governance side of things, but then the liquidity pools and the extra value that it sort of creates as well?
Yeah, that sounds great. So, okay, you're right. Yeah, we didn't quite get into this yet, but so the whole other side of this, right, is so from the miner side, they're getting Neta at a beneficial rate of basically 122% of what you'd be earning Ergo at. but now where does all of this Ergo go? And where all of this Ergo goes is 20% goes to research and development. So it's going to pay the developers that are building the protocol. But then 80% of all of that Ergo is going into something we have called the Neta Liquidity Fund. And what we do with the Neta Liquidity Fund is we then we basically acquire these different assets, ADA, ERG, Bitcoin, MintSwap, ErgoDex. We have some ErgoPad. And basically, we use these assets to then provide liquidity to our DEX partners, MintSwap and ErgoDex, and that'll earn additional yield for the fund. A part of holding Neta and CNeta, how we mentioned earlier that it has revenue rights to the protocol, it also has revenue rights to the community fund itself. So the Neta Liquidity Fund, I think right now it has somewhere between like 75,000 and 80,000 ERG, and I think we're getting close to like 500,000 ADA, so like about 500,000. And on the way that it started was on Cardano through the ISPO, was a very similar model to the ERG, but instead of the 80-20 split, it was a 90-10 split. So 90% of that was going to the fund. So now we have ADA every 5 days going to the Neta Liquidity Fund. And now we have Ergo pretty much every day at this point with the way things are going, also coming into the liquidity fund. And we're just using that to provide liquidity. That's going to earn yield, which grows the fund further. And then the token holders of Neta and CNeta are the beneficiaries of that. So we'll be able to do some on-chain governance in the near future, both on Cardano and Ergo, where we'll be able to vote the direction of the funds and how we want the funds to be used and things of that nature. So that's sort of like the breakdown of how the ERG is being used and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's very, very good to make that clear that there is the utility and the liquidity funds behind the scenes as well to build out the project. It's just not sort of just a token on the network itself. It actually has utility and use and everything like that, value behind the scenes.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's super cool too. You know, even outside of the protocol itself, is that there is this Neta Liquidity Fund that, you know, slowly but surely is starting to build up a good amount of assets. And you know, especially I don't think there's any time to acquire these assets than right now. You know, like Arobi said, we're in crypto winter right now. So you know, I think the people that are still focused in this time and, you know, still worried about or focused on, you know, getting 1% better every day, I think are going to come out of this really strong. And I think our project, Ergo, GetBlok as a whole, are going to be beneficiaries of that. And, you know, included in that is the Neta Liquidity Fund, with just continuing to acquire these assets, continuing to earn yield on the assets, and continuing to let the community decide on the direction of those assets.
Yeah, thanks for that rundown. So let's jump into a couple of questions here that we've got on the chat. Dig Dug 0008. There's a rumor floating around on Discord that ErgoPad will be mineable. Can this be confirmed, denied, or no comment?
No, you know, actually, I guess they stole my thunder a little bit there, but yeah, no, we are, you know, definitely in conversations with ErgoPad right now on, you know, looking at a mineable asset. So more to come. That's, you know, new news, but we'll definitely have more to share in the coming weeks.
So I guess you could say NDA soon.
DNA soon.
Sounded like a yes. It sounded like a yes from what I could hear. I don't know.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that, guys. Yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. Comment here from Andy. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you very much for that. Also, a question. Are SubPools and mineable token rewards a functionality that is currently only unique to Ergo?
As far as I'm aware, yes. I mean, I think that there's been some white papers established on Ethereum about smart pools and, you know, using smart contracts to distribute through a mining pool. However, it was prohibited, right? I mean, I think you know, the concept was there, but as everyone knows, transaction fees are a killer, right? So when you need to interact with smart contracts and, you know, process transactions back and forth to the mining pool, those fees start to add up. So it starts to make the process economically unfeasible. Where on Ergo, and that's exactly why we look to build this here. The transaction fees are very low, right? I think they're what 0.0001 erg or something like that. Yeah,
double
so
0.01.
Yep, 001. So I think that that provides a lot of value for developers as well who are looking to interact with blockchain, and have those transactions processed without making it too expensive, where the end users paying a fortune just to run a simple DApp, right? So
yeah. So I think that that explains things. Like I said, there has been a couple of white papers around. Imagine the token distribution model to try and do that on ETH. You're sending what 0.0001 ETH or something for a block found to a miner, and then it's costing 2 ETH for gas fees or something at the peak of the network sort of running. It's pretty crazy. So the beauty of Ergo is being able to do that with quite cheaply.
that's exactly right.
Another question. Sorry. Another question from Meta. I think we have Neta tokens staking soon. Please, Frosty, can you tell us a little bit about that? I think you just touched on that in regards to the liquidity funds and things.
Yeah, cool. I can touch on that briefly. First of all, hello Meta. Meta's on the community team, so yeah, Meta's the best. And also Doug Dig too, Doug Dig. He's in Discord all the time. Also one of the homies. So hello to you as well.
Shout out to those guys.
So yeah, shout out to them. And our goal is by the end of June or early July. But basically, what we want to do is, so you acquire these Neta and CNeta tokens, but then what are the different things that you can do with them? But an additional thing that we wanted to do was to make sure that the people that believe in our project and our supporters have the largest power, I guess, of the protocol. And it's really cool about our project because we still to this day we haven't accepted any VC money. We have the ability to have the community really have a large say in what's going on and how we grow and the different things that we develop. So the staking opportunity allows people to stake their Neta or CNeta tokens and earn additional Neta and CNeta tokens on top of that. And the more Neta tokens that you hold and the more CNeta tokens you hold, the more governance you have over the protocol, and the more revenue that you'll get from the protocol and the Neta liquidity fund and things of that nature.
So just on that, is there a set sort of APY for the yield farming side of things, or is that sort of does that fluctuate in regards to the amount of people staking, or how is the tokenomics set up for that?
So basically, we haven't released all the details yet, but I'll just tell you guys anyways. Basically, so like what we're thinking of doing is basically doing like a 10% APR for 6 months and like a 15% APR for 12 months.
There we go. I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what's going on there.
No, we were just making fun of you for like 2 minutes, so it's good that you came back.
Oh, that's all right. It would have only been nice things said anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, so sorry guys, I missed all of that. So yeah, not too sure what was said. So thanks very much for that rundown on APY.
Did you hear about
APR,
the staking?
Sorry.
Did you
yes.
hear about the? Oh, you did catch it. Okay, good.
Awesome. Yeah, I got the 10 and 15%, and then I must have dropped out. Not too sure. So yeah, welcome back to myself. So, Rob, in regards to the infrastructure requirements, sort of to build everything else out, is that sort of an easy undertaking? Is the requirements to be able to do so already set up, and it's just a matter of sort of setting up the servers on the back end, or is it to you have to build out the servers and the rest?
I mean, there's definitely, open source tools such as Mining Core for Stratum servers, and we do utilize that software. However, we, for our pool, we did have to significantly customize that just, to be able to support the pool.
Yep.
So it is somewhat custom. I wouldn't say it's definitely like not, just a click and go type situation. But no, it's definitely, and it scaled from time. I mean, I think when we initially started just the mining pool in general, we probably started with, just two regional servers, I believe, then scaled to 3, 4, 5, we basically just kind of built out based on mining connections, right? And I think that was very important to, see where the mining connections are coming from so we can provide, that network and that resource for them. And it was a slow growth. And as we grew and, as we kind of planned out, the subpooling and whatnot, we, slowly started adding additional Stratum servers and, networking infrastructure to handle, all the back end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, there's a lot of miners on our pool. There's a lot of shares processing, and that also all needs to be handled within the back end within all the servers. So, obviously a significant undertaking, but it was something that we've, built over time.
Yeah, sure. And we've just got another question here from Andy as well. Is it possible to give increasing rewards based on how long someone mines for?
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely some flexibility within, the way the emissions are, released from the pool or, within the block rewards. But it's, something would have to sacrifice, right? So, if there's, there's only 63 ERG currently to be distributed per block, we can do whatever we want with that 63 ERG, right? We can, distribute it many ways. I mean, say there's 5 miners on the pool, just quick numbers. We can make it so it's kind of like a round robin where, every 5 blocks, somebody on the pool got a full block payout. Where, there's others that may have to wait for that to come, but it's kind of like a lottery. And that's just a simple example, but I mean, just think about that, right? You take the block reward and, it is, obviously, there's several ways that can be distributed, right? So
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's, sky's the limit. Obviously, we want to kind of keep things within a, certain bumper guard just so it doesn't get, too chaotic with managing all these different payout structures. But, in a sense, there's, plenty of flexibility there.
Yeah, we've touched on this in a previous episode as well. It makes mining fun. It brings that joy back into be able to tinker and have fun. And how cool will it be to have a little sort of lottery set up where you can just kind of chuck your stuff in there and see what happens. It'd be really interesting.
I mean, it could be a mixed bag, right? I mean, think about it. I mean, and this is coming in the future, but user-based subpools, right? Where, anyone can create a subpool. They want to provide, whatever liquidity they want to that pool and figure out some sort of payout structure that may, entice miners to, jump on their subpool. So, it's it provides not only the, the fun that we talk about, but, it also allows for creativity and development within, a mining ecosystem, which is, novel in itself.
So user-based subpools, when lamb chops token.
Hey, look, it's, just next steps for us is right now stabilize, right? We have some, significant growth coming on. So, understanding, how's everything functioning with all this, increase in miners and, making sure that there's no bugs, there's no glitches, right? And, we need to vet that out before we continue to scale. But, it's focusing on that. It's, working on some UI updates, streamlining some of the API. So, like I said before, we can kind of section that out, from a statistics standpoint. And then, they'll be focused on user-based subpools, right? And, as I mentioned, potentially some other, project-based subpools within the ecosystem.
NDA. We just got another comment here from Alex BL100. We touched on this a little bit earlier. What will happen when we reach 1,000 miners on the subpool?
Yeah, so keep in mind that's 1,000 miners per subpool, not the entire pool. So that the subpool is, or the pool itself is currently sectioned out into 4 pools. But what will happen is once we approach that, threshold, and I think, we're going to kind of keep eyes on it, and probably activate something ahead of time. But we have creative solutions, right? There will be merging of subpools in the future, where, we could take another subpool and basically include it in the same contract and have the same mining distributed, the mining rewards distributed between, both pools. So in a sense, we'll be doubling that pool, but it will be one pool in itself.
Yeah. Thanks for that little rundown, mate. We've just been going for almost an hour now. Frosty, we might wrap things up. Is there anything you want to say? Any last words, mate?
Let's see. Well, I guess a few things. Just to recap, one, again, Arobi, I really appreciate so much what you and the team at GetBlok are doing. I mean, you guys are just rock stars, and I told you guys already, I think this is huge for Ergo, but our industry as a whole, because as a person put in the comments, I do think that this is the first time that something like this has been implemented, and I think it's hard for us to put in perspective just how huge this is. Also, CW, thanks for taking the time to have me on. It's a pleasure to be on your show. And I guess the last thing I would say is thanks to our community, anetaBTC community, our community team. This is all really possible because of you guys. You guys help drive the growth every day. And, I'm here to work hard and keep working hard with you guys and show up and put the work in. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me on, and looking forward to talking to you guys soon.
Yeah, very well said, mate. And we welcome anytime. More than happy to have you back on. So in the future, when things start growing out a little bit more, you'll be more than happy to jump on, and then we can discuss things a little bit further. Rob, anything you'd like to say? No worries.
Yeah. So, just as Frosty said, I think it's been an amazing ride. It's been, great working with Frosty and, his community as well. I mean, I think they've been, great supporters behind the subpool, and, we're, all just kind of coming together as a community and kind of spreading the word and getting the message out there. So it's been great interacting with, not only their team, but, like I said, with the entire community. So, we're going to continue to build, we're going to continue to grow, and, we're excited for the future.
Yeah, very well said. Well, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. And thanks, Frosty and Rob. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. And we'll see you guys in a later episode, hopefully in a couple of days. So we'll catch you guys soon. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
See you guys.